Just a Job is the podcast for the modern woman to redefine what success looks like. We highlight real women and their real stories. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Just a Job with Ellen and Sarah. We are here to chat just a little bit before we jump into our interview with Miss Carly Henderson. So before we do that, we are going to jump into kind of our formula that we've put together for all of our future interview episodes. So a play on the corporate term stand-up, a daily stand-up. Since we're doing episodes weekly, we're changing it a little bit and doing a weekly stand-up. So we're going to do just short little intros between the two of us before we jump into interviews. So we hope you guys like it. So to kick us off, Miss Sarah Soph, talk to us about your weekly stand-up. What is one thing that you are focused on, excited about this week, and then one thing you are excited about or focused on for next week?
I would love to answer. This week, I'm wrapping up a project with a client. So I had an Asana build for a client and had my training yesterday with them, which is typically like wrapping it up. I just have to put a couple of final little pieces together, tie it off with a bow, and send it off. This was a really fun project for me. I love building in Asana. So I just like turn on music and a podcast and just geek out, build in Asana. It makes me feel like a tech wizard. And I love that.
How long did just like the technical build part take you, would you say?
This one was a smaller project. So it's for a marketing campaign. It took me about 3 hours to build everything.
Great.
So not too bad. Knocked it out. And then next week we're in the process of moving. So I would show you the state of the office, but I don't want to embarrass myself. So yeah, we're in the process of moving and all exciting things happening. So I feel like I'm just running on fumes at this point, so I'm excited to get going, but I'll have a new background for the pod, which will be exciting.
Ooh, leave us on a cliffhanger, a new background.
Yeah, so any interior designers out there, feel free to hit me up.
That's so much fun.
And next week. It is fun. But speaking of fun, Ellen, what are you working on this week and next week?
Well, listeners, as you all know, I am now an unemployed gal. Technically unemployed gal. I'm going to start telling people that I'm now a full-time podcaster, and
do it.
I'm going to just delusionally tell that to everyone I come across in all future conversations. And Tim has a Christmas party on Friday. I'm telling all of his coworkers I'm a full-time podcaster.
We should make business cards so then you can pass them out. Or fun thing. A fun plan. I know. Cards.
Okay, great. I know what I'm doing later today. Spending some time with Canva.
Yeah.
So this week I'm kind of going through the ups and the downs of, okay, I don't have all this time to fill my day with work. What am I going to fill my time with? So kind of riding the waves a little bit, the ups and the downs. But again, thankfully I've got my peeps around me. Sarah, you and I just talked about this earlier, but I've got the support. So I'm feeling good, just trying to, take it day by day. So I feel like this week is more of a kind of riding the roller coaster for me. And next week, I'm hoping to really set a good routine for myself. I am so not a morning person. There are a few things I value more in my life than my own sleep. I hate waking up early, but I know it it just sets my day off in such a better way. So I'm trying to find a good routine for me, maybe some fun at-home workouts. If you have any good YouTube workouts or anything, send them over. I'm going to try some new things. I have a little workout kind of setup in the garage that I'm hoping to use more. So
perfect.
I'll keep you updated on what the routine looks like, but I've just got to find a new joie de vivre with how I'm spending my time. So,
yeah. Maybe you find, you were just mentioning that you've really been enjoying cooking. Maybe you take up baking and make hot, fresh muffins or baked pastries, and then that'll get you out of bed.
I'm going to turn
Croissants.
into Susie Homemaker and have my own Great British Baking Show by myself in my kitchen.
Why don't you just make a TikTok and post about all these at-home recipes
Oh my God, could you imagine? Bake with me. And like
and then
my
ship
cookies
them to
turned out
Delaware?
burnt and lumpy. Ooh, all right. Oh, that would be a cute housewarming present for you. Okay. Keeping that top of mind. Perfect. All right. So we've got Sarah, you're wrapping up a project with a client and you're moving next week. We are all sending patients your way, Michael's way, and to Senor Briggs. Hopefully he has an easy transition. God love him.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
I'm riding the waves of unemployment this week and finding a new schedule for myself next week. So stay tuned for all of the fun updates that we've got. But this wraps up our very first weekly stand-up. How exciting! A monumental timestamp in the realm of our podcasting, Sarah. Thank you everyone for listening in on our very first daily stand-up, weekly stand-up, whatever it's called. We're going to jump into the interview with Carly. Thank you so much and enjoy the interview with her. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here for another episode of Just a Job. Today, we are joined by Carly Henderson. She currently lives in Kansas City, as you see a theme here with all of our Kansas City gals. And she lives in Casey with her dog, her husband, and their 2 cats. She graduated from Kansas State University with a degree in athletic training. And then she went on to get her master's in business in 2019. She has a professional background in both corporate and retail sales, customer service, e-com, and interior design. She's a jack of all trades and just enjoys building relationships, learning new things, and nurturing her creative side. So welcome, Carly.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited that you joined us here today. So you, in your little description, you listed like 15 things that you have experience in.
Yes.
Just a few here and there. A jack of
Just a
all
little bit.
trades. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you walk us through a little bit of college, what that was like for you, and then
Yeah,
the dreaded post college and what that was like for you?
certainly. Yeah, absolutely. So I went into college with actually a little bit of athletic training experience under my belt already. The high school district that I went to had a fantastic, like, early professional gosh, what would you call it, like program. And so I did all athletic training all the way through my junior and senior year. So I had a really good understanding of what that looked like leading into college, which was great. I felt very confident going into college with that as my degree. The plan was to get to physical therapy school, did all my college things. You know, it was basically a full-time job being an athletic training student. Ellen, your husband, can attest.
Yep.
We spent a lot of time with the athletes, almost identical schedules as they were, you know, so I would come home, eat, study, sleep, wake up at 5 a.m, go to practice, sit there, do it all over again every day. So it was a lot for being in college. And I also worked part-time. But that's what I love to do. I like having things to do and staying busy. So after college, I unfortunately did not get into physical therapy school, but I was still in this mindset that like I wanted to learn. I was already, you know, ready to be in school still. And so I decided to go get my master's, finish that up in December of 2019. I actually technically never even walked, like I never actually graduated. I got my piece of paper, but big old snowstorm the day I was supposed to walk. And
Oh,
then they
no.
rescheduled our graduation for 2020. And we all know what that brought. So I have a sheet of paper, but I never actually walked across the stage to say I got it. So
Oh,
funny
that's a
times, but
bummer.
just, you know, that's the adult life that we have been handed. So
Totally.
that led me into my first sales career, which was working with RX Saving Solutions. I sold a pharmacy software solution to help people save on their prescription medications. I was super passionate about the business. I absolutely loved what I was doing and that I was still out there helping people in the medical world. They were a very small startup, went through a lot of changes in the year that I was there, ended up getting let go right in the middle of my MBA. So I was like June of 2019 was when I got let go, decided to just finish out my schooling. COVID hit, went back to waitressing, which was my very first job. Right, you know, as a 15-year-old, same restaurant, worked there for 13 years. It was great. And then once we got a little more settled, got back out of quarantine, I found myself working part-time for a interior design boutique called Golden and Pine. and I absolutely loved it. It was totally supposed to be just like a part-time seasonal thing, you know, just get me to my next professional spot. And it ended up becoming a 3-year career. I was truly voted into the store manager position. Came into work late with a headache, and they were like, "Surprise, you are the new store manager." So that was how that happened, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You know, it was like truly that's why I went and got my MBA, just because I wanted to manage small teams, and that is exactly what I did for 3 years. It was so fantastic. About 8 months ago, I'd just gotten a little tired of it was very repetitive. You know, I was just looking for something new, but within the company. And so I moved into a more operations role, kind of removed myself from the floor a little bit, did more computer, kind of inventory stuff as opposed to like the face to face with the customer. And I actually found that I really enjoyed it. So I kind of found a love for e-commerce and social media, that kind of world. And that's really where I'm at now. Unfortunately, the store closed a few weeks ago, so I am just hanging out and being my own little boss. I've now started. I'm partnering with a friend of mine. She started a company back in 2020 called The Shoop Co. It is a polish liquidation brand. And so the goal is to get that back up and running and give people the opportunity to buy great home decor pieces at an incredible price, because our biggest thing, and something that we want everybody to know, is that you do not have to sacrifice style to remain in your budget. So that's where we're heading. That's, you know, on my horizon, and it's been a wild ride getting here.
Oh my God. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. That's so
Thank you.
exciting.
Thank you.
Definitely a wild ride. It sounds like you've had a lot
Yes,
of pivots and
absolutely.
changes. What was one of the biggest pivots for you where maybe you were like, "Oh my God, my life is over. Now what the hell do I do?" Like what was
Uh-huh.
something that really was a
Yeah.
turning point for you where you're like, "I've got to make a change. Something's got to be different."
Yes. So actually, it was probably about 6 months ago while the store was still open. You know, it was just
Mhm.
like I knew where I was at and I knew how the business was doing, and I have very big aspirations for myself. My biggest goal in life is to give my future kids the life that my parents gave me. That is like ultimate goal,
Oh,
right?
love that.
I never wanted for anything, but I have had a job since I was 15. You know, like we had a great life, and that is what I want for my future. So however I need to get there is kind of where I'm at. So yeah, about 6 months ago, I really was like, okay, it's time to start planning for what's next. I didn't exactly think that I was going to be like thrown into it as quickly as I was, but that is life. And yeah, I was just realizing that I was working more hours than I was being paid for, and recognizing that just there was a lot of things that, you know, I didn't have the time. I worked for a retail store and I still had no time at home. So that was starting to weigh down on me. It just felt like I constantly was working, and that wasn't fun for me. It was bogging me down, and it was a job that I loved. So that was getting to be hard for me. But yeah, that was really when I decided. It was just like I felt that the next step was just kind of going to be removing myself from that and taking charge of my own life, because unfortunately I've been in two very different roles. I've been in the corporate world, I've been in a privately owned business world, and at the end of the day, I was, you know, out on my own so that's kind of where I got, you know, where we led me to this position, and just looking out for myself and starting my own business was that at the end of the day, I am the only one looking out for me, you know, so, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. It is
Mhm.
the world of business. That is how it goes.
Mhm.
And so that's really where I'm at in my life. Is I just turned 30 and I'm really ready to prioritize myself.
Good for
We
you.
love
Ah,
to hear
Thank
it.
you.
I
Thank
yes.
you.
I feel like that's where a lot of people wish that they could be, right? And I always
Yes.
thought growing up, like 30 was going to be this golden age of just like having
Yes.
all of these epiphanies and like life coming together. But it's really
Totally.
just like it's a buildup of like all the other things happening in your 20s leading up to your
Absolutely.
30s. Okay, I'm so curious. So like your golden and pine job, how did you find that? Did you find it? Did it find you? What was the
Yes.
story of how you got your foot in the door there?
Totally. So yeah, I was actually at my waitressing job one day and just standing on my feet all day. I'm exhausted. It was about 35 minutes away from my house. I'm realizing I'm getting older. I cannot stand and run around like I used to. And yeah, I was just on Instagram. That I live very close to the store. It was a store I was familiar with. And like weeks before that, I had seen just like a blurb about them hiring. And so it was like, why not? So I DM'd them, asked if they were interested, and they asked for my resume. That is history.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was
So it was
that
great.
quick.
It was very quick, a very, very quick turnaround.
That's awesome. A couple of the other girls that women that we've interviewed as well have gotten jobs off of Instagram DMs. And I think that is so funny.
Truly. So a gal I follow, just the other day was like, people are looking, it's also, right before the holidays. So it's a hard time to look for jobs. But she was like, if you are looking for jobs or you are hiring someone, like, let's connect. And so I have just DM'd a woman the other day, saying, let's connect. If this job can be remote, it's a New York company, but why not? I mean, shoot your shot. There's nothing to lose. Truly, truly.
Taking advantage of technology, not just for dating, but for job placements.
Exactly. Exactly.
It is. There's like a theme for sure. Like other people getting jobs or gigs or just meeting people at least through Instagram. And if anything, let's be honest, it's like when you're on the opposite end of it and somebody messages you about advice or about like how you can kind of help them, like it's such an honor.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
Especially if you're owning a business and somebody sees and wants to be a part of whatever you're creating, like,
totally.
yeah, that's so great.
Yeah.
It's such empowering. A compliment.
Yeah, yes. Totally.
Oh my gosh. So you kind of talked about this a little bit earlier too, with like your ultimate goal being that you want to create a life that you had growing up, like mirroring your childhood for your future kids. To you, what does your definition of success look like?
Totally. For me, it is just a comfort. Being able to, I don't need the biggest house in the world. I actually always laugh. I've asked my parents numerous times, how big is your house? Okay, good. I'm never getting a house that big. It's like, we just don't need the things. I'd rather, David is the same way. Like when we went on our honeymoon, we went to Costa Rica and he called it our adventure moon. Like we are here for experiences. And so that is something that's, for me, that would be success, is just getting to experience the things that I want to, not ever feeling like I'm restricted in the things that make me happy. Yeah, just feeling love and content. That's what success is to me, truly.
That's great. And I think a lot of that, it's like you can get pieces of that from your job, but it sounds like you're not letting your job necessarily define who you are. It's just that the job is a means to an end, but you obviously want to feel connected to it.
Yes, for sure.
So then current job, tell us about how you got to the point of starting your own business. What's that look like for you? What's some challenges that you had, excitement, all the things?
A lot of nerves, totally, like, oh God, am I ready to do this? Like, is this really going to happen? So, just kind of fighting that back and just go for it. Just do it. What's the worst that happens is, you just end up where you started. Right. So it was definitely a choice, it was like, am I going to do this? Am I ready for this? But it was super helpful having Stephanie in my back pocket, somebody who had already started her own business. Having that partnership was amazing. It's been very easy to just kind of transition into being a business owner. Where I'm definitely, what's going to be the hardest part is letting everybody know what I'm doing, what the goal is, getting my name out there. But just not being scared to do it is kind of where I'm at. So yeah, it just felt right. It was time to trust myself, to believe in myself, and not look back.
Yeah. Good for you. That's so awesome.
When you're talking to people, like, I want to know the feelings that you're feeling currently where you're telling people about this and how you kind of get out of this, maybe like self-doubt, or how you're expressing yourself to the people around you. What does that feel like to you right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the people that I've kind of like interacted with are like, do you have this yet? Do you have that yet? And just being okay with saying, no, I don't, because I'm brand new to this, but like, let's figure it out together kind of thing. It's definitely like nerve wracking because, there are so many other companies out there who are far more established and have all the documentation and the contracting and all the things that they're looking for right off the bat. but just being confident enough to say, no, I might not have everything that like a truly foundational built out business has, but I'm me and I know what I'm capable of. And if you want to work with me, like I promise you that it's not going to be a negative experience. We're going to come together, look for a solution. I am always willing to work with people. One of the biggest things in my life is just always being available for the people around me. So, you know, asking questions, being open to concerns, and just building also a community that supports you in a way that they have no fear of your failure. So why should you?
Yeah.
That has been a huge blessing to me. And I think that's just really important for people in any aspect of your life, is just finding that group of people that truly believes in you beyond what you have ever believed in yourself, to the point that why would you have any doubts?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, we relate to that one pretty damn hard. I mean, just earlier we were talking about, you know, planning some things out and getting more things ready for the podcast. And we both have to remind each other, like, it's okay if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And then to your point that you were saying earlier too, of sharing it with friends and family is so scary, because you're like, well, I think we know what we're doing, but we're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. But it also helps build that accountability, like with your community, to be like, I told these people because I trust them and they believe in us. And when the time comes, they're going to hold us accountable for what we're saying. And it sounds like you're finding that as well, as you're sharing with friends and family and starting to build that community for yourself.
Definitely.
Carly, now that you're your own business owner, now that you have the flexibility to make your own hours, what are you thinking about finding that work-life balance at home? How do you think you're going to be able to manage that? And what does that look like for you?
So one thing that I have left from the minute the store closed, I have not changed my alarm. You know, it goes off every single day at the same exact time. So I'm still getting up, you know, even if I'm taking a little bit longer in bed in the morning, I'm still getting up. I'm doing the routine. One thing, you know, I'm getting outside more. Like, I'm walking my dog every day. That's been a lot of fun for me, because I never got to do that. My husband would always do it in the middle of the day while I was away. So this has been fun for me. Like, we've gotten to spend a lot of quality time together. But that has been fun because we've gotten to work together, my husband and I. He does a lot of digital marketing. And so he's been helping me, you know, create the things that I need for my business. But no, I really have just kind of maintained the schedule that I was used to. I was working from 7:30 to 4 every day. And so that's kind of where I've existed. I love having my afternoons to myself. So that's really how I'm keeping my days planned out.
It's good to like set that boundary, especially with waking up in the morning. Ooh.
Yes. Oh, it can be a toughie.
Yeah. Good for you for it's like not changing that and sticking to it.
Yeah. So now that you're in the, like, are you working from home?
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I am.
the work from home. How is your current setup?
Well, I have you sitting on a knee pillow so that you're in my face.
Functional.
And not, you know, like 7 inches below me. We have to turn my vanity into a desk, you know, something that I can actually operate at, and, you know, move my makeup somewhere else. But yeah, we're definitely, that's something that we have to work on for sure, is like, we have a small house. So it's like creating a space that is for this specifically is absolutely key, because sitting on the couch is very distracting. Yes.
Well, and then it's like you just need a change of scenery sometimes. Absolutely. Of like, literally behind me, I call my office my prison, because there is nothing in this room, because I'm like purposefully leaving it empty for when I want to actually decorate it. This is just the saddest, most pathetic room. And I'm like, I gotta go look at some color. Wall?
Yeah. I'm like, I will literally sit in my living room and I'm like, someone give me a sledgehammer, give me a bucket of paint. I need to like change something now.
It sounds like I need to call you up and be like, please help me design this room.
Anytime.
Yes. So I need some help. I'm super curious with interior design. You'll have to check out Ellen's Pinterest board, which, Ellen, I've been checking out your Pinterest board and it's popping. But
oh my God, thanks.
I believe that.
The fashion queen, Ellen.
Seriously, come on. If your home decor and style is anything like your fashion decor, all like,
We're
girl.
good. Tell us something that's been exciting you about the industry, as it stands, and also to maybe some like fresh perspective that you're bringing.
Yeah. So, what we're trying to do is obviously a little bit different than just like walking into your typical retail store. The goal for this year is to actually be able to have the product donated, so that we can then sell and then give back to the Kansas City community. That's really the goal.
It's amazing.
Because the gal that I've partnered with, Stephanie, she is also very community centric, like wants that woman building women up kind of group. And so, yeah, just design in general is always changing. It's never static. And even my own design, my own personal style has massively evolved just even since we bought this house. That's probably part of it, is that I just like want to put my head through half the stuff that I have hanging on the walls, because I'm like, I hate you now. I was 25 when I bought you. It's like I didn't know what my style was. All I had decorated prior to that was a dorm room.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is what is so fun about design, is that it's always changing. There is always something new. And I think what Stephanie and I are bringing to the world of design is, as I said, just keeping style affordable. Because you can, gosh, you could walk into a thrift store and buy a hideous lamp for $15, take it home and do something crazy to it and have something totally new. I actually did that many times with the product that I bought from her. I had mirrors and all sorts of things that, it wasn't the right color or something like that, but I loved the style, the shape of it. How easy is that to just come home and turn it into something that you love? So that's for us, is I think where we're trying to go, is to make design and the quality of your design affordable, accessible, and put it back into your community.
I love that. Again,
Thank
with
you.
this sad little room in here, I've been trying to find things either like, well, at first I gotta hang something up on the wall. So I'm like, oh, some pretty colors or
Yeah.
literally anything to put in this room. It's either so expensive or I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. So being able to bridge that, something that makes you excited and is pretty, and you can it's still a piece of you and a piece of design, but is also affordable at the same time.
Absolutely.
Home run. That's
yeah, right.
Yeah. And gives back to the community. Like you feel good every time you look at this piece. Like
We're
that
so excited
you chose
for that
it.
part of it.
Yeah.
That's so
good. So one thing that we talk a lot about when like speaking with other women is that transition from like college into your first time job. Because I don't know about you, I thought I had it figured out, and I immediately in post graduation was just 360 so different.
Totally. Yeah.
Talk us through those first kind of like 6 months post grad, what that experience was like for you, how you navigated it, and almost like speaking as if you're speaking to your younger self.
Totally. Yeah, no, it was, my post grad was definitely interesting. I was still very much on the path to physical therapy. So when I graduated from K-State, I actually moved out to Boulder, Colorado for 6 months, and I was the assistant athletic trainer for their track team. It was an incredible job. I had the coolest office. Their football stadium is like in the basin of the foothills. And so that was what I got to look out to every day. So I did that for, gosh, how long was I out there? Yeah, for actually about 6 months. But then after that, I came home, and most of my like immediate post grad was actually working towards physical therapy. So I was doing this internship. I came home, I had a job at a physical therapy clinic. I was trying to get those hours. So definitely more still in like that school learning mindset, as opposed to like, gotta go get a job right now. So for me, it was more like post MBA, even though I already had a job, was just kind of like, okay, now I have this degree. I definitely think I stand out from other people by having this degree and being dedicated to the education. What does that look like for me? I don't know, especially because, I was like, I went into college with a very, very specific plan, right? Like athletic training, physical therapy, life, whatever. That obviously did not happen. And so it was a lot of, okay, this didn't go how I wanted. What's the next best thing? How can I, get myself to that point? a lot of sitting with my thoughts, allowing myself to have feelings of upset and sadness and just like overall discomfort of like, what is my life going to be now? But just, yeah, it was crazy. A lot of unknowns, and just really what it came down to was just needing to take a breath and just be like, listen, go for something, do it for a little bit. And if you hate it, go do something different. Like that is something that I think is so different from our generations. I will never forget this. When I interviewed for that RX savings job, the man who ended up becoming my boss, he's looking at my resume and he's like, why do you have all these jobs? And I'm sitting here thinking, well, first off, sir, I'm fresh out of college. So, they're part-time jobs and I don't physically live in Manhattan, Kansas anymore. So I cannot have that job anymore. It was a silly thing that I thought he asked, but it got me thinking. I was like, because they didn't make me happy anymore. Like if I needed to go find a different job, go find a different job. Like our generation is certainly not built to live to work. We work to live, right? Like that is absolutely a balance that I think our generation has done a much better job with doing. I don't necessarily think we're all the way there. I think we have a lot of people who are still just like really gung-ho about, work. And that is totally cool if you want to live that life. Like that is your choice. Absolutely. But I think that we have set this tone for our generation that you are allowed to be happy and do something that brings you joy, and you don't have to be tied down it doesn't make you any better of an employee to work for a company for 30 years versus 3 or 4. There is no difference in who I am as a person, an employee, etc. I just want to have joy in my life, and I think we're allowed to do that.
Carly, you're speaking our language. I'm like, jump up and down.
Love it. I love it.
But it is, there's just that, like, when I graduated college, I was like, oh, I go to work and I go find a job that I got a degree in. And then I found out that I did not like it. And I was like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, why does this not feel right? And why is no one else, at least that I knew of in that moment, but why does no one else feel like this? Like,
right.
Is something wrong? Like, did I waste my degree? Like, what is the deal? So I totally relate with just not, if something doesn't make you happy, move on. I mean, I think that's such a good lesson to keep in mind. And I've said this before, but someone I was speaking with recently said, before you leave a job, don't get mad. Oh, and that just like stuck with me so hard, because bringing that home, even though I work from home, but bringing like bringing that to my kitchen, like past that doorway. It's just such a heavy weight, and I think knowing that it's okay to change your mind if you're not happy, there is something else out there, and I like what you said, that it's really interesting seeing that shift with our generation of, I'm not happy, or this isn't bringing me joy, or this isn't fulfilling to me. I'm going somewhere else. I'm changing my mind. Yeah,
absolutely. I laugh as a 30-year-old, far out of college. Maybe I did myself a slight disservice going into college, being so gung-ho on a path, I never changed my degree. I didn't go into college saying, I don't know, I'm just here. But it's like, where would I have ended up, if I was just a little more open to what I could have done? It was just, I had made a plan at 17. Gosh, if the plan had worked, I would have been a mother of 2 by now, and that would be the end of it. Clearly I am not. So it's a good thing life doesn't work out that way. Right. But yeah, it's like it's nice now feeling confident enough in myself to explore new things, because at 17, 18 years old, it's like, I don't know. Or if you do know, you're like, this is what I'm doing, and there's no getting me out of that. So it's, it's fun to be this age and feel confident making decisions for yourself, and knowing that it's okay to make decisions for yourself, having, your parents don't get to necessarily say, oh, I'm paying for this or supporting this, so you need to do it that way. It's you get to make your choices. You get to decide what's best for you. And that is such a freedom in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And you can't like blame your 18-year-old self for creating a path. Like if anything, I'm like, damn, that's amazing. Because at 18, I was like, I don't know, I like to talk to people. I'll do PR. but also too, it's like at 18, how are you supposed to know like the world and
Absolutely.
what's out, what's out there, and
Totally.
and also too, that's like, I hate to blame society, but like that's how society is, because there's always the question
Absolutely.
of like, oh, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And you're like, I don't know.
Totally.
Exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if only the 18-year-olds now could just be like, I don't know, have a job and be happy.
Like the 18-year-olds now, I think they would though. Like they scare me a little bit. My cousin literally just turned 18 last night, and I'm like, it's terrifying.
It's a little spooky.
Like, whoa.
Somewhat wiser than me.
Yes. And like
in a way,
even less shit's given. Like in a good way, not a bad way, like a good, confident, like I am who I am. No one's going to tell me otherwise. And I love that. I'm here for that.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of younger family members, Carly, if you could look back at yourself at 18 and give yourself just like a little nugget of advice, you're looking that girl in the mirror, what would you say?
Believe in yourself and go for it. Don't ever let anybody tell you that what you want to do isn't the right way or the thing that you should do, because they don't know you. They'll never be you. Go for it. Do your thing.
Actually, I just got little chills.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that.
I love it.
All right. I think we should get into some rapid fire questions.
Bring it. Let's do it.
I'm going to start. I know you kind of got to cheat on this one earlier, but what is one thing you cannot live without to make it through the workday?
My planners. Oh, good Lord. My planners.
Ooh,
I'm an ADHD queen, and if I do not write it down, it is out the mind. So my planner is my bestie. I use my phone planner. I use my written one. But if I do not have that, your girl is lost. Goodbye.
I love that. I'm such
You're
a
the
list
first
girl.
to say that.
You are.
You're the first to say that.
Like, I don't know. List organization. Like I'm the person that like writes it on the list after I've completed, to just like, oh yeah, I get to cross that off my list. Like I am a notes girly out the wazoo. I need it. I absolutely need it.
Level it up and take it to a sauna if you want. I'll teach you. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing is sweeter than just like a line through something or a check mark.
Truly. Oh, it's just like, it's literally like a weight off your shoulders. I'm like,
totally.
Now I can quit for the day. Did that task.
I'm done.
So you worked in corporate.
Yes.
What was your favorite corporate catchphrase?
Oh gosh, my company was very interesting. It was very not corporate-y, very startup. Like it was very techy. So like ping pong tables in the break room, and all those kinds of things. So really, I didn't get any. We really didn't talk in super corporate-y ways, which I really liked a lot, because I'm not super into that, like button up, pristine. Blech. Yeah. So I can't say that I have one, because I never was really introduced to any.
That's a gold star for you.
Right?
And the company.
Yes.
Well then, all right. Maybe you had a corporate pet peeve or a pet peeve while working at the corporate job. Anything that comes to mind?
Being told one thing and then never having the person follow through really irks me, because I'm like, listen, we're a team. I'd love to do this task for you. I would absolutely love to do it, but I need you to follow through on your end too. Like, I love a team setting if you're going to be a team player. That is my biggest pet peeve.
They're going on your list and you're crossing them off. Don't work with them again.
Don't have time for that. Like, yeah, I like to put myself first too, but like, not right now. Like, let's work together. Let's yeah, I don't have time for people who don't follow through. Ask my
Fair.
husband.
The best
Subtle plug.
coworker of them all.
The best.
Oh my God.
Love you, David.
Shout out. Let's see. Okay, I think we can wrap it home with one more rapid fire question. What is your favorite way to unwind after work?
Okay, the not PC version, a big old fatty bowl.
Hell yeah.
That is what I'm doing.
Big chillin'.
But really big chillin'. No, but like a book. I really am like not on my phone during the day. David and I laugh a lot. I probably like 99% of the missed calls that I have from him are just trying to find where my phone's even at. So that's really when I like kind of play catch up, kind of lose myself a little bit. He's usually watching sports, so I just kind of like melt into the sofa a little bit, play with my dog. I'll read a book. Just anything to like not to just get it out of my mind. Just it's Carly time. Watch some true crime, whatever, just whatever I'm feeling.
No thinking. Just
No
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah, just like
existing.
literally black hole in the head. That's
Yep.
what I'm here for.
A nice brain melt.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Quiet me time to recharge.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, Carly, thank you so much for being here. We had so much fun chatting with you. We'll make sure to include all the places that you can find Carly in our episode description. So be sure to check her out. Thanks everybody for listening. And thank you for being here, Carly.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much.
Woohoo!